Heyo and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to day 6 of the first novel. Today I'm going to be talking about the importance of dialogue in your book. Oh, Puss is jumping down. As well as wrapping up some Christmas gifts for my loved ones. Don't forget to go back and check out the other 5 days of the first novel, and don't forget to subscribe so that you know when more are coming out. Don't forget too that for all my subscribers, I am doing a book giveaway right now. It is carrying on until the 31st of December, and the links are all down in the description below. Well, not all of them, there's only one link. You only got to click on one link, so the link is down below. So I found that dialogue can be one of the most fun things to write when writing your book, but it can also be one of the most frustrating too. But it's super duper important. All of the things we've talked about in the last 5 days, dialogue can help you reveal it. Dialogue can also help you show and not tell. I'm sure you've heard that 1,000 times, but dialogue can really be where it's at to help you with that. All right, I've got a few presents here. I've got a couple of books and some chocolate that I need to wrap up. What more do you expect, guys? Come on, books and chocolate. That's pretty much what I'm all about. My whole life revolves around books and chocolate. So I'm going to start out. I think I'm going to wrap up Kingdom of Ash. So hot right now. So I don't think anybody is going to give me as a job as a gift wrapper anytime soon, but you know, it's the thought that counts. This is not something that I'm really a natural at, but something that you do want to be natural is your dialogue in your book. You want it to seem like anybody could be having that conversation. I'm sure you've all come across dialogue in books where you sort of think, really? Is that how they're talking to each other? And that can be sort of heightened by, you know, not using contractions. Everyone's saying cannot and do not and things like that when you're in a contemporary book. Also, those sorts of things can really take away from the story that's going on because it just doesn't feel natural. One tip that I've heard is that you should write your dialogue without any tags, without any he said, she said, any of that kind of thing, and just write it. One person says something, the next person says something. Just write all of that first to get the flow going, and then go back and add in your action tags and your dialogue tags. Some of you might wonder what action and dialogue tags are, and this is definitely goes back to kind of the underlying craft of story writing, but I'll go into it just a little bit here. So your dialogue tags are the he said, she said, he murmured, she shouted, they called, any of those kinds of tags that come after a sentence. These are super important and also super not important. I've heard that about 80 to 90% of the time you should just be saying he said, she said, they said, because it doesn't take away from the flow of dialogue. You don't want someone to be sort of stuttering through a piece of dialogue with he murmured, she called loudly, or any of those sorts of things. Also avoid adverbs like I just used there. There are better words. But he said, she said usually does just fine, and the reader will just skim over it and it'll help the conversation to flow. Chocolate! Coconut Ruff. I love coconut ruff. So an action tag in dialogue is when your characters are doing something. The dialogue tag is more how they said something, if that's necessary, but the action tag is when they do something throughout the conversation. Action tags can help you to avoid what I've heard called white room syndrome. Now that white room syndrome is where someone can be having a conversation and for all you know, it could just be in a white room. You have no idea what's around them. You have no idea if they're sitting or standing or what they're doing during this conversation. And that context is really important for your story. So action tags are super important. Action tags could be as simple as he stood up from the chair, or it could be even more complicated if there are a whole heap of people in the room. I don't think you'd want to make them too complicated or else it could just get confusing. It's just providing some context to what's going on. It's very rare that anybody would stand still and have a conversation with someone. You know, they may gesture towards someone with their hand. That's an action tag. Scattering these throughout will help avoid that white room syndrome and create a more realistic conversation. Guys, The Elysian Prophecy by Vivian Reese. If you haven't seen Vivian Reese, she is another author tuber and you should probably go check her out. I think she is very much pregnant at the moment, but still putting out videos, rocking it. Woo, girl power. The thing that I like most about dialogue in books is that I feel like that is where you get most of your humor from. That is where you can show that characters are funny, you can show that characters are witty, you can show that characters are extremely intelligent. I think dialogue is one of the only places that you can really show that. You can put it in the exposition and in your just the normal paragraphs and all that sort of stuff, but I don't think it's as effective as really showing someone through what someone says that they are a super funny, super intelligent character. I just love that stuff. Give the gift of an indie book. Support the author tubers. So that's pretty much all I've got for you today on dialogue. It is 100% something that needs to be included in your novel. And you know what? It might be a little bit tricky at the start to get that natural conversation, but the only way to get it right is to get it on the page and practice it. So for now, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and I'm also on GOODREADS. Head on over, give me a follow. I'd love to catch up with you there. But go and do some dialogue, go and write some dialogue, some witty conversations, and don't forget to laugh at yourself. I'm going to finish wrapping these and I'll see you tomorrow. See you then. Bye!